This Saturday night, it'll be the 117th meeting between in-state rivals Michigan and Michigan State, the battle for Paul Bunyan. Michigan leads the all-time series 73, 38, and 5, and have won 4 of the last 6 meetings and the last 2. Brant, Michigan, and MSU have both looked completely different teams from last season. MSU, at least a little bit better. Michigan, much worse. You and I have talked so much about the struggles of our Wolverines. What's handicapping this team so much this year in your eyes, Brant?
Well, the biggest thing that's handicapping them is quarterback play. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. I mean, you go from having a very pro level team, pro level offense, to having only one returning starter on offense. Maybe if you consider Donovan Edwards a starter last year, um, you got two, but there's going to be a lot of growing pains with that. But the biggest thing has been the quarterback play. They've now switched through 3 different quarterbacks and have not found a solid answer. Started out with Davis Warren. Everybody thought when they announced that Warren was going to be the starter that, okay, he can throw the ball better than Orgy. Well, that's true, but he can't seem to find the right color. Whether he'd be colorblind or whatever the deal is, he has an interception problem. So all the Michigan fans, ourselves included, started to call for Orgy. It's got to be better than Warren. We got to see what this guy can do. Give him a chance. Let's see him throw the ball down the field. It's got to be better. Well, Orgy could never throw the ball down the field. Finally got the chance. Didn't see much. Let's just say that. It's not hard for a defense to figure out how to stop Michigan's offense when you have a guy who can't throw the ball more than 5 yards and all he can do is run. You just stack the box. You maybe have a couple cornerbacks out. It's not too hard to stop Michigan's offense there. So finally, versus Washington, they turned to Tuttle. Immediately, I was on the Tuttle shuttle. Michigan's offense looked a lot different, went down the field, took the lead on Washington. I thought, okay, cruise through this game, get this win, and then we have a bye week to try to figure things out before Illinois. Obviously, things didn't go well with the end of the Washington game. Thought maybe it was just a mistake, and then this weekend we found out that it was no mistake. Tuttle had a problem with throwing interceptions. He put the ball on the ground again. It's something that we were hearing out of camp was that despite being an injury issue as well, that it was also an interception, a turnover issue, and we're finally starting to see that be the truth. So that's my biggest thing, quarterback issue. Where Jaden Davis is where a lot of people are asking, and the truth is that his family has requested that with him redshirting, he doesn't play at all. Why that might be, I don't know. I've heard academics, they want him to focus on academics. I completely understand because at the same time, while you're a college football player, you're also you're also a student. They want him to get that degree. So I understand, but man, what Michigan could do for a quarterback like Jaden Davis right now.
Absolutely, Brant. I 100% agree with you that it's definitely their biggest issue is the quarterback issue for U of M. I'm going to put this into perspective for a lot of Michigan State fans. I mean, look, this U of M team this year, they paid a heavy price for winning that championship last year. They truly look like a team that lost 10 of 11 starters, including their quarterback, superstar running back, 2 main receivers, and their entire offensive line. It's just the price that you pay for winning a championship. With that said, I mean, us Michigan fans kind of understood that it was going to be a down year, that they weren't going to be contending for the Big Ten. The expectation wasn't there. With that said, it's been much worse than just a mediocre season for the Wolverines this year that I expected for them. But as much of it sucks, you just kind of got to suck it up for a year. Next year, that's unacceptable. And if you'd have asked me before the Rose Bowl, make a deal with the devil that, okay, I'll tell you what, U of M will win this game and win the championship, but next year, Harbaugh's gone, JJ's gone, Corum's gone, O-line's gone. Nobody can throw the ball. The defense is going through some troubles. and you're going to have a bad season. I'd be like, give me the championship. You know, I mean, if you just keep having the cycle of making the playoffs and not winning a championship, as great as that is, as great as it is to go through that, what's it really worth? And I'm going to go ahead and put this into perspective for a lot of state fans here who maybe think that I'm living in the past by saying that. If right now you could make a deal with the devil for basketball to have a absolutely phenomenal season this year, one of the best that we've had in recent college basketball history, UConn level season. But at the end of the season, after you win that championship, you win the Big Ten, win the NCAA championship, Izzo rides off into the sunset. All of your star players go to the draft, more of them transfer. And next year, you got to completely rebuild. And it's your bottom half of the Big Ten, and you're the laughing stock of people are, oh, how did they go from, a national championship to this? Would you take that deal? Because I'll be honest with you, Brant, I don't think there's a whole lot of sports fans that honestly wouldn't take a deal like that.
Right. I agree with that. One thing I do want to touch on, something that um, you mentioned that nobody, we weren't expecting Big Ten championship, national championship contention. Um, Let me make this one thing clear. There were fans that were thinking that. There were plenty out there. So now that we've kind of gone through the cycle and figured out where this team is, we've had a lot of people come to us and be like, well, what happened to contending for national championship? What happened to contending for Big Ten? What happened to that? And Nate and I have both been like, what are you talking about? Like, we were not expecting to be contending for a national championship. There were Michigan fans out there who were, but we were not. And we have heard from multiple of the people that we talk to the most about this kind of thing. A lot of our good buddies, a lot of people who it's not just a conversation here or there where you could get mistaken what we said versus what somebody else said. The people who have to hear it from us all the time say, yeah, you were expecting mid-pack Big Ten, maybe top four of the Big Ten. You weren't expecting to win the Big Ten. You weren't expecting national championship, maybe make the playoffs. Now, let me just say, like Nate said, they've gotten lower than even our expectation. They've gotten lower than where I thought their basement was. I said coming in, the absolute feeling for this team is 11-1 and making the playoff. Probably won't even win the Big Ten. I said the basement was 8-4. Right now, we'd be thrilled to even make a bowl game at this point. Those people who did say that they were going to win a national championship, they were going to repeat, they were going to beat Ohio State again, win their fourth straight Big Ten, have been severely humbled. That is one of the things that I can say. Even my expectations, I have been humbled by where my expectations were versus what the result has been. It has been a very humbling season so far, and I hope that whoever you have heard say, we're going to win a national championship, we're going to win the Big Ten again, we're going to beat Ohio State, we're going to kick Michigan State to down the gutter. I hope that they've been humbled and can at least admit that, this isn't what we expected it was going to be, and it's quite humbling. So, just want to piggyback off of what you said there, Nate. So,
Now, Brand, I know it's going to kill you to do this, but I'm going to need you to give me one good thing you've liked about MSU this season, and then I'll go ahead and let you give me something that you have that you think that Michigan State needs work on so far.
it's both going to be the same answer, and it's Aiden Childs. Aiden Childs is an outstanding quarterback when he chooses to be. I have been saying for the past 4 weeks, I have been putting money down at least 2 or 3 times on Aiden Childs to have 2 touchdowns. And I've been saying that he's due for a game where he is going to have 2, 3, maybe 4 touchdowns and 200 yards and no interceptions. He's due for it. I've been saying it for the past 3 or 4 weeks now. He's yet to do it. He just continues to throw interceptions. Against Iowa, he looked pretty good. He had a couple interceptions, I think two of them, maybe just one, but it was by far his best game. And I'm just gonna say this: I know without almost without an ounce of doubt in my mind that his go off game is going to be against Michigan. It would be too ironic for it not to. Um, I've loved Aiden Childs and I've hated him at the same time because he has been a really good look for Michigan State. He's been exactly what that offense has needed. But at the same time, same kind of situation as Michigan's situation, he can't seem to throw the ball to his own team sometimes. The problem is that they don't have a backup option, so they have to ride it out with him. And don't get me wrong, I would ride it out with him too. But Michigan has so many options that we keep thinking that the next option is going to be better. So that's what I love and hate about Michigan State is the quarterback play from Aiden Childs.
And finally, Brent, with both teams being evaluated, what's your prediction for Saturday in Ann Arbor?
That's a great question. Um, I think it's going to come down to how well can Michigan's defense hold up against State's offense. Um, and can Michigan's offense get anything going against State's defense? State's got a really good defense. Michigan's got a really good defense. It's probably going to be a low scoring game. Um, just because I can't ever predict Michigan to lose. Give me Michigan in a 17-14 game.
You know, Brent, at the beginning of the year, if you had told teams from either side that this was going to be a close game, they probably would have been like, not really. But here we are. And I think it's going to come down to the battle of the offenses on Saturday. Right now, I give it a 50-50 chance. It's going to come down to the efficiency of Michigan's run game versus the efficiency of Michigan State's throwing game, in my opinion. How good can Michigan's offensive line and Donovan Edwards and Khalil Mullings do against Michigan State's run defense compared to how well Aiden Childs and Michigan State's receivers, how well can they do against Michigan's secondary? As of right now, it's I have a little bit more faith in State's passing game than Michigan's passing game, and obviously I have a little bit more faith in Michigan's running game over State's running game. So that's really what I think it's going to boil down to in the end is Michigan's run game versus State's passing game.